Everybody, welcome back to Sticks and Stones Wood Carving, and today figured we'd mess around a little bit more with some hand tools and cover a little bit more on mouths, because I know people seem to like messing with the mouths and need a little bit more info on some of that. So let's see if we could put a set of lips on this little guy I've been playing with here. I'm just making a monster eye. But I guess we could do some kind of nose, at least so you have a kind of idea about where we are on the carving. I wasn't going to give this guy a nose. I'm just actually just playing with a different type of eye. So let's get the marker out here and do a quick nose, and then we'll put a mouth on this guy and practice another set of lips. All right, so right here, let's just, is my marker going to work here? I'll give him a little round. I think it's time to pick up some new markers here. I'm just going to really stop cut around this for now, okay? Then I'm going to put a line there and take some wood out. Just like that. Same here. And dig my point in there. Take some wood out here. All right. Just so we can get, we'll take some wood out here now. But just so we can get an idea about where we are on the face. It's the only reason I'm putting a nose here. So then when we do the mouth, you won't be all confused at just looking at just the mouth. You'll have kind of a reference point. So I'm going to bring this up like this with a cut and straighten this out a little bit, put another cut there. I'm going to take that piece of triangle out there to get some depth, like that. Same thing here. Take a big chunk out there, and that'll make the nose start standing out a little bit. Just got a little practice piece in my hand. I like to use these and these little 1-bys to practice faces, practice noses, practice eyes. Maybe we'll cover a decent nose, all with the knife, and show you guys another different way to make a nose too. Okay, or two. Now if the nose is uneven here, what I'll do is cut up a little bit more, because I like to get it to stand out over here on the side. And then I'll angle this back, so this is actually going back at an angle to give us a little bit of room as it transitions down into the mouth. Then we're going to round this off, okay? Still got to clean up under there. Pretty late. Just sat down at the carving bench to have a coffee and pick this little piece up that I was whittling on earlier, so we'll just use this. So anyway, put yourself a little tiny nose in there, all right? And let's, like I said, this video is going to be more on lips and mouth. Let's see if we come down here, round all this off, it'll be easier. And the big thing is to think round, especially if you're going to do a mouth, all right, with lips or without, and you got a mustache covering it, you would still want this roundness to it. So try and round everything over. And let's even think of drawing kind of like a little circle. Let me get my marker out here. Just clean this chip up. Let's think of drawing kind of a little circle. All right. Not too big. All right. And within this circle, we're going to put our mouth. All right. Now we could take this circle, make a full circle. All right. And we could take it and split it into thirds. Right here's one. Right. Right here's two. And the bottom down here would be the third. All right. 1, 2, 3. So you got 3 sections here. I gave this one a little bit more room. This is going to be where we separate the mouth. All right. Down here is really going to be his bottom lip. And down here would be his chin. So first of all, what we're going to try and do is take this lip and keep it below this nose. It's going to be lower. All right. This part is going to go below this part. And then, of course, the chin will be the lowest. So we're going to start here at the chin for a minute. We're just going to take this down. All right. By taking a wedge of wood out here. All right. Let's start taking that chin back. And let's kind of go over here to the side. By angling and stop cut, angle cut, all right? Just to start to get that rounding over, right, up that way. Let's do the same thing over here. Gonna angle it down some, cut up into it. And take some wood out there. All right, just to get it to start going up. And 45 degrees back on the bottom. We'll start getting that mound to kind of stick out. And again, this will be the chin on the bottom here. All right. Now, since we have this all rounded over, all right, we're going to start our upper lip, and we're going to start it with a V-tool, all right? But I want you to stay on that line. And you can cut this pretty deep, all right? Bring it over like that. You don't have to go all the way across. And if you want to shape that lip a little already, see how I curve it just a little bit to get the shape of that lip? Already you know how that lip has that shape to it, okay? Now what I'm going to start doing here is leaning my V-tool on its side. I'm going to start shaving and flattening out underneath that. Okay, at a 45 degree angle going up. And this right here is going to almost shape the whole lip for you, the bottom lip. Okay, see I'm just doing that. Now, if you're just using a knife, you would simply take this part and you would push it up at a 45 degree angle. Okay, just like that. Now he's already starting to form this mouth. All right, now I'm going to take a small veiner. All right. Can you see that? This is high-sided U, okay? It's a veiner. And what we're going to do is we're going to come over to the corners with this, and we're going to get inside. But first, we're going to make a little bit of a divot right at the end. Let's see if I show you with my marker. Right about here, right? We're going to come down with this over like that. And we want to put like almost like 2 indents here. Gonna come down with it off of that lip. And we're going to try and dig some wood out right here. All right, so there's a dent there. Over to this side, kind of go down for a minute off of that bottom lip, all right, where it's meeting the top. And right here in the corner, try and take a little chunk of wood out. Now we can push that mouth up and under that now, all right, and into that. And when you view them from the side, you'll see that lip pretty clear. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start running my veiner across for that bottom lip, and I'm going to push it right into that little divot we just made. Okay, same over here. Make sure it goes into that little divot. Right, and the top will come down. When we do that, we'll push that into that little divot too. All right, now let's shape this a little bit by coming down. We're going to make a little circle underneath this lip. Okay, just like this. I'm going to go down on each side. Then I'm going to clean that up with my knife. All right. Pushing all this into the side here. I'm going to come over here and make sure I clean some of that up. Remember, that chin is going to be underneath that. Okay, right where that little black dot is. So I'm going to round that over. And you're going to always be checking from the side. You see how this chin is sticking out still further than the bottom lip? You got your top lip, that should stick out. The bottom lip, we're going to shave down so it is behind just a little bit. All right. That, you want that behind the top lip here. It's below that. It's a little lower. And then the chin will be a little bit lower than that. Okay. So we have to take it down in levels and make sure those proportions are right. And it will look a lot more real and a lot more like a lip. If you want it to look a little bit better than what you're coming up with, try and keep that in mind. They kind of tear down. The chin being the lowest point. All right, it should be angled back and not sticking past the bottom lip. The bottom lip should not be sticking past the upper lip. All right, so a little at a time, we're going to take our veiner and we're going to make that bottom lip. All right, and once we make it, come over here to the side and take some wood out here. Like so. Right in the corner there. Okay, and over on this side. Push up to that little divot that we made. With some light cuts. Because you want that mouth to go into there. Now what we're going to do is check our profile. The bottom lip's still sticking out a little bit. The chin needs to come down still just a little bit more. I'm going to angle it a little bit more. And sometimes it's just about getting the proportions. Now this is more for realistic proportions, not really caricature proportions, even though this will probably be more of a caricature. But as far as trying to get them to look right, all right, you should keep that in mind. If it's not working for you and your mouth just doesn't look right, that might be why. Okay, I mean, sometimes I like to make the chin really stick out. So now the chin's below the bottom lip. Bottom lip still needs to come back just a little bit. So I'm going to really take this down, and then I'll recut it again. Because I do not want that sticking way far out. Okay. So just keep taking that down. Now it's starting to look a little better already. And we're going to try and shape it up and into the corners. Okay. And you're thinking around here too. Try to keep rounding, all right, as you're going here. Okay. And again, to get our chin, I'm going to swing around here and make me this little upside down cut coming under the lip and back down. All right. Now, continue to round this lip up and over into the corner. And this one too, you want to get it kind of symmetrical. Okay. And we're going to angle that lip 45 degrees up. And try to slowly shape it to go into that corner there. Okay. I tend to pulled to the left when I'm carving here for some reason. Sorry about that. And the same here. We're going to go down and into that corner. Okay. Good. I'm going to try and round this down. On that side, I'm going to come over here and take some of this right here down. This part right here. Okay. Take a look at it, and the dimensions are starting to look much better. Right, bottom lip's just a little bit pouty. That's just going to be a matter of shaving it just a little bit. It's a little pointy there and sticking out. Okay. Clean up the chin there. And now you have the chin lower, the bottom lip lower than the upper. And over here on the sides, we're going to shave this all down. All right, and push it back. I'm going to have to take some of this wood off here. Wasn't really planning on going this far with the carving. Just wanted to show you a quick clip, but you're going to need the dimensions to get that right over here in the corners. Okay, we need to keep that mouth rounded. All right, now to do the upper lip, like I said, it's just a matter of taking your knife, pushing down, straight down. All right, and give yourself a little bit of a flat spot on that lip right here. I'm going to pull this over and down, pushing straight down. You can take a little bit of that wood out with a stop cut underneath, get a little bit more shadow underneath there. And there you start forming your mouth, right? When you view it from the sides over here, it's actually going up and into the corner of the mouth, on the corner here, all right? So when you go from the side and you have your cheek or whatever here, you know, he's got that little divot there and it's going up and underneath. So when you view it from the side, it'll look a lot nicer. Okay. Now, if we take this little veiner again, you can do this with a gouge too. Scoop it up and make a separation here. I should have used a little bit bigger veiner, but we're going to separate. Where's my gouge? I should have used the gouge actually for this, not the veiner. That's a pretty small veiner. We're going to separate just a little bit right there. Right? And then we can shave all of this up and over, trying to round all this off and keep that roundness in that mouth. Okay. And you start shaving that down a little bit. Another way you could do this is to just take your knife and just start going from the top of the lip right here, pushing back and up in a scooping motion to get that lip to stick out. See that? And you clean it up like that as you go around. And just try to shape it the way you want it as you go, you know. Push this over here and up. Okay. However, we're going to do that on both sides. And there we have a nice little lip. I can even get a little more shadow over here by scooping more out, okay. Can droop the lip down on one side if I want. Take more out here in the corners. All right. It depends on what you're going for. If I want to just keep it a regular lip, I'd scoop it up into that corner where we put that little divot. Okay. And then we'd have to shave all that, of course. Get it to blend together here. All right. And that's pretty much the basics of doing a lip. Now there's a lot more we're going to cover on this as far as stop cutting and getting just a little bit more depth in your lips, separating the lips into three parts, you know, on the top here, like right about here, all right? It actually separates a little bit. We'll go into that later. All right, so it's actually it's got three separate little parts. It's higher here in the middle than it is on the sides here. If you study a face, you'll see that this is a separate part over here, then the center is here, and then this is a separate part. All right, and that's very little subtle changes as you go, but if you can carve them in, I would need a different knife. It does give it a little bit more realistic look when you make them. Okay. And once you have your basic shapes, you, of course, flatten those out by pulling the wood down and going into your cut there. Okay, so that right there is one way to do a set of lips, and if you practice it, you'll find it gets easier and easier. An important line on this, let me clean this up a minute because it's such a small block. I should have done it on a bigger block. All right, but an important thing on this is to definitely have a round shape to start, okay? Because once you start cutting these lines in, like right here, I could run a stop cut across for more depth, take a little bit of wood out. And it just gives you that shadow underneath, okay? A little bit more. And definitely one of the more important cuts when you're starting to form your lip is underneath right here. All right, after you do that top lip, that's going to be the cut right here. That's going to start off that bottom lip and your chin. It's going to separate those. And then from there, you can round up and into the corners over here, into the sides of the mouth here. Okay, here and over here. All right. He's a little dug up here, but you get the idea. All right, and then it's a matter of, like I said, just shaving all this and little at a time, shaping that top shape of your lip. All right, you leave that protruding out a little bit. And practice blending that in. Until you get that mouth to stick out from the side, like so. Can you see that against the black? All right, and on this side. And all this stuff underneath here is just all, that's just all gravy. Now, I wouldn't have this so dug up here if I was shaping the whole face, and I would have had all this carved back. You know, we were just doing a whole regular face, all right? But I'm trying to put the mouth on here halfway down and didn't really prepare the rest of this blank for such an endeavor. But that's okay, all right? I think we made our point as far as giving you guys a little bit more info on lips in this little tutorial, all right? And there you have it. So it's a little bit more than the last time, but the same idea. Practice shaping them. And you can even make him look a little bit nicer by actually digging the nose in here. I'm just using a gouge that I have. We'll do a quick little nose. Okay. Like so. I'll just get that to all kind of blend in. All right, so now he's got a little bit of a nose, and you can tell that those are lips under there. Actually, I'd do this nose totally different, but that's okay, as long as we have a reference point. And like I said, from there, it's just a matter of shaping this down. I'm trying to keep that little border around the lip right here, you know. Oops, just drop that tool. Which is easier to do when you have, you know, the whole thing starting to shape out where it should, and everything kind of coming down into the right parts instead of just trying to form a little ball. But I figured if you saw that if you started with that round shape first and rounded it over, you see how easy it is to form that lip, right? Or at least the shape of a mouth. And the more you play with this and clean it up, the more that lip will start cleaning up, all right? So, there you go, and that's one way you can start. Now you can sand that. Hopefully it gave you a little bit more info, okay, on shaping a mouth. It's not a perfect mouth by any means, but it should give you an idea as far as proportions, all right, and how to go about a little bit more. It's just kind of a build on the last one we did, all right? And I'm just doing it on a piece of scrap wood. And like I said, all this you can go around and you can clean up afterwards. But, see the side of the mouth there? And over here? And it's just all a matter of practicing and playing with it. After you shape your face, get it ready, and then shape your lips. Make sure to take a little wood out over here underneath, and over here underneath, okay? All right, that's going to be it for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Hope it helped.